So not sure if we're gonna see any turtle soup today, but yeah, hope for some good games.
Exactly. So I really hope that this series is going to be exciting because back all the way back in cycle one, the finals was between these two same teams. So it should be a pretty big game, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. That being said, it seems like we are having a little bit of overlay problems, so we'll be going back into the game very soon. But we do have Thunder Masters on Legion and MR on Hellborn. So Lark, who do you expect to win today's game?
Not too sure as to who's gonna win. I mean, like for this cycle number three, like round one, yesterday, which was yesterday, both teams they both won their matches against their opponents, and of course yesterday we casted MR versus Bricks. The second game kind of looked a little bit in favor of Bricks, or almost in favor of Bricks. They could have actually won the game, but MMR of course they bested them. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, but I'm kind of like placing a bit on Turtle Masters. I think maybe they could take the game, but we're just gonna have to see how it goes.
Yep, I am just excited to see if this is actually going to be well on the way. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, finally can see the screen here. We do have the hidden banning, as in not a hidden, sorry. The first banning phase nicely completed. Fade, Engineer, Tempest, and Keeper. So no big wombo combo. Engineer also being thrown in there means that it's very likely that we will not see the Duogun from Wild West, but still MOA will be the first pick from Turtle Master's side, and that is something that we all love to see. They also follow up nicely with a Bubbles, both of them with great amount of a lockdown. Bubbles with the Calfill, MOA definitely anti-push, as well as the fact that he does also have got a stun. So MOA plus Bubbles, that's a really nice combo. And on Hellborn team, we've got MRR, and that's Ophelia plus Wretched Hag. What do you think about that combo there?
In my opinion, like stacking the Ophelia with the Richard Hag so early, it's okay. I mean, the reason they chose the Ophelia, of course, is probably to kind of counter against the Master of Arms pick. Master of Arms and Ophelia have just such a damn strong combination. So unfortunately, we won't be seeing that in this game. And Turtle Masters, man, going for their signature turtle over there, their mascot of the team. Against the Hag Ophelia this early in this game, I think it's okay, especially seeing as to how now they have a Sand Reef as well. That will definitely help to minus a lot of the damage coming up from the Legion team. Having that Ophelia heal is going to be very important. But of course, Kraken, we didn't. Of course, we saw him being played yesterday by MRR, and they played it quite well. I mean, Shito and XE got some pretty good ultimates off, as well as getting that early levels. And I think that's a really good pick in my opinion because of the recent changes to him. And yeah, I mean, I just really like him overall as a hero now. Like he kind of offers a bit more as compared to before.
Exactly. That being said, Kraken is just something that MR has been running very successfully in day number one against Team Bricks. But against Turtle Masters, it's a real new ball game here, and I hope that they are able to do a lot better against Turtles. But Turtle Masters, they have not exactly been in the best of shape for the entire cycle too. Still, they are a top 4 if I'm not wrong. They are just a little tad behind. And that being said, they do have 5-6 and it's still going to be playing for this team here. And the rest of this roster seems pretty familiar. Now that being said, the second banning phase, we do have Scout, Prisoner, Warbis, and Pharaoh nicely banned away. Do you have any extra thoughts as to who is actually going to join this pool here?
Well, there you go, Corrupted Disciple. On top of Corrupted Disciple, I think what I think is they could actually ban out support here if they really wanted to kind of like prevent that coming out from the Legion team. But they're actually gonna go for Revenant. I don't think that's a. I mean that hero has been tried and tested in the international scene and works fairly well. But I mean in over here in like the Thailand scene, I don't think it's used as much. So teams don't really have as much confidence with that hero. So I don't think it's that much of a ban worthy here. But nonetheless, it's still a very strong hero in its own right, especially with the recent buffs to him. So it's gonna be still good for our ban, in my opinion. So
Yep, and with Revenor joining this hidden banning phase, we are actually seeing it nicely completed there. Revenor, if I'm not wrong, only Impunity Storm has been playing, and Emperor does a pretty decent job on Revenor in a middle lane perspective, but haven't really had the opportunity to cast that match, so I can't really say for sure. That being said, we're seeing a Torture as well as a Luna pickup for both teams there. Torture seems pretty interesting to join a combo there. It's another one of those Thunder Masters combo. We've got Bubbles, Torture, Sandrift as usual, and definitely the Pebbles coming to play. I'm expecting Iron Knight to be playing as the carry. I don't think that's any overly obsessive amount of change coming from TurS side. Whereas for Hellborn team, they do have one last hero has been picked up, but seeing that Pebbles has been shadowed there, they should be dealing with a slight loss because they will not have the Pebbles going in their favor. But that being said, Rally is still pretty much available in this entire game, and Rally is still very much relevant and legit. So I think that Rally is going to play a very good part in this game. However, they already got Kraken in the middle lane with a Luna, so what's lacking in their perspective really is either a Suicide if Hex going to be playing as the carry, or maybe to go for an extra carry potential. And with that, we have got a lot of other available heroes. We do have got Dark Lady, Nighthound. Somehow Nighthound hasn't been picked up recently, don't you think so?
I mean, he just got shit stomped on. Just mind my French there, because like the recent changes to him, it's just so terrible in my opinion. Like, what was the reason to actually like change the backstab? Like, the thing is now people aren't as afraid of fighting a Nighthound, and that's just not the way you want to see it. I mean, he got nerfed pretty hard in my opinion, the Nighthound that is. So I think that's one of the main reasons as to why he's picked up less and less in the competitive scene, and then you see more of like Sand Raves and all these other carries. And I think hopefully we get to see a Puppet Master, because Puppet Master got a couple of buffs himself, including the, I think it's like the crit multiplier from his whiplash,
Yep.
and the ultimate, it just deals so much more damage now. So hopefully we get to see some Puppet Master. I mean, it's been a really long time since we've got to see that, and I think it
Yeah.
can prove pretty useful for this team on the Hellborn, because just having the ability to puppet show one of the heroes, like whether it be a Sandray or a Pebbles, will just do a lot for the team. But of course, it seems like it's gonna go for Soul Reaper, which is alright in my opinion.
Definitely very fair to have the Soul Reaper in the team there, but Papa Master, let me just tell you the details of what exactly happened there. His Whip Slash is actually very much changed to, instead of every 5 attacks, it becomes every 4, so on the 4th attack you'll proc, and also an additional 50.5 times damage into the critical, so that's quite a fair bit. So that being said, we are still not going to see Papa Master in this entire game here, but pretty much game number 2 well on the way.
Yep, pretty excited for this. I mean, like both teams, they have a pretty decent lineup coming out into this. I think I have to kind of favor more of the Hellborn team, because they can have the early aggression and have the sustainability in team fights, seeing as to how they have a lot of heal potential with the Ophelia and the Soul Reaper.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see that. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, game number 1 finally gonna happen here for round 2, and it's like watching the finals of Cycle 1. That's why it's really exciting to watch this match here today. And I myself, I find it a really big game. So I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I will, and more importantly so, because it is ultimately pretty laggy out here. I mean, no one's really loading on my screen. Has it started already, or is it just me?
Yeah, I think it's just you.
It's just me,
We
really?
started.
This is bad. But yep.
Alright.
I will have to hope that. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna have to disconnect and reconnect.
Yeah, I hope you come back soon, and I hope it's not like last time, because I definitely don't think these teams are gonna remake.
No, no way. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll just run through what's going on. Bubbles
Oh wait,
just
yep. I'm back here.
okay.
Yep.
Nice. All right.
So don't worry about that. Finally have it under control, it seems. Yes, it's between TurS and MRR, and yeah, it seems like I'm just in time before the HoN sound, so I'm gonna introduce this team as well as players. On Team Legion, we do have TurS all the way from Thailand, by the way. They are your Cycle 1 champions, and they are just very much still very strong and relevant in Cycle 3. We do have Hooky Hook, and he is, yeah, he did change his IGN, by the way, so it's Hooky Hook, and he is gonna be your torturer. Look like Liv, still pretty much look like a vegetable there. He is gonna be your MOA. We do have Bubbles being played by 5678. Pebbles being played by Xsign Z. Last but not least, Carry Iron Nun favorite for the Sandwraith. It seems like he is also gonna be playing his favorite hero. And on Team Hellborn, we do have neolution.MRR, also from Thailand, and they are your Cycle 1 second run-up. Sorry, first run-up. And so far in, they are very relevant in this entire competition. MR, I mean, everyone knows how well they play. And that being said, we do have Bomb Rusher Paul, the Drafter, as well as the Luna. We also get Ophelia being played by Color X, Kraken being played by Chitomanix on the middle lane as usual, Soul Reaper being played by Duikyu. Last but not least, we do have the Wretched Hack being played by O7T.
Yeah, and he's gonna get some harassed bottom lane ready with the Torturer. I want to talk a little bit about the warding that just happened. Okay, it looks like Torturer's just gonna apply some harass on Hag. I think Hag should be fine. He hasn't skilled a skill point just yet. He's just gonna go ahead and try to ruin the pull cam here for Torturer. So that should be all right for him. Yeah, he's not gonna be able to stack this up.
Yeah,
I
he will
think.
not. The second wall hunter is gonna ruin
Oh,
it.
is
There we
it?
go.
No,
Oh,
I think he's gonna be. Oh no.
no.
I don't know. Oh, that was so close. That was really close. But yeah, I mean, he's gonna have a very hard time against the Torture because Torture is just gonna be outputting a lot of damage onto him at the bottom lane, and Sandrift should have a fairly easy time in farming. But just look at how the warding is coming up for the Legion team. They try to be very aggressive. Like you see Bubbles, he places the ward of sight over there, and that's just to kind of prevent Ophelia from ganking him whenever she has the chance. And it's pretty alright coming up from this Legion team.
Yeah, it is, and it seems like Ratchet is having a really bad time down south by himself. It seems like still standing at level 1, having almost no experience at all. Hack is going to be staying at level 1 for, I think, the next 2 minutes at least. Or maybe not 2 minutes, but there we go. Impalement from below the ground, just nicely piercing through Hack, and it's a little disturbing to see that gruesome sight there. But Hack is still standing at the very end of that, about 50% health points left. He is going to be taking a lot of constant harassment from this Torture. Hooky Hook doing a really good job, but Sandrift is also having a great farm. That said, I can't say the same for the top lane, because Soul Reaper is on a 1-1 situation against 5-6-7-8 playing the Bubbles. And we do have both of them at level 3. Astonishingly, it seems like Bubbles is dealing a lot of damage onto the Soul Reaper. He does still have got a Judgment, so he can very much win any close fight, and I'm not expecting Bubbles to be dumb enough to overcome it in terms of overextending and stuff like that. That said, things are definitely not looking very good for MR right now, except for the middle lane, because they're having a really good time there.
Yeah, I mean it's a 2v1 lane, so you can practically know that it's gonna be hard, and especially seeing as to how this is Kraken.
You're not going
That
anywhere.
splash.
Top lane, nice start from MOA, and it seems like Bubbles is gonna go in also. Nice Fog Lightning, but not enough damage on the Soul Reaper. He still very much stands there. And middle lane, Pebbles takes a little bit of harassment, but yeah, back to the point, Lark.
Yeah, I mean like middle lane Pebbles should have a lot of hard time against both these heroes because Kraken just can constantly harass him with the splash. The AoE was increased, so it's pretty far right now actually, if I do believe. It's about 325 radius, which is pretty decent in my opinion, seeing as to how that was recently changed up. And finally we see that Master of Arms finally comes back to the middle lane. I think Master of Arms just kind of rotated to the top lane for a bit to help out the Bubbles, and I think Bubbles should be fine. Like, he is sitting at level 4, he has boots ready against the Soul Reaper, and he's been harassing him quite a bit. If you take a look at the stats, he is at about 14 and 10 versus Soul Reaper, who is at about 6 and 4, so he's doing a pretty decent job.
Yeah, but it is pretty interesting, and that being said, we are just looking at small little rotation coming up from the Luna. It seems like it is a little far-fetched though to try and nail the kill on the Bubbles. That's very much mobile. Judgment gonna be used there, and nice little stun. Finally gonna finish up with a power throw, but not enough damage to pick off the Bubbles. Still, he does take a lot of damage and will be playing pretty passively for the next 30 seconds at least. That said, middle lane, Kraken is not really having a very good game right now because there's also MOA here, and losing the partner, the Luna. It seems like the stun from the Pebbles is gonna land nicely. Nice little chuck. Nice to see Big Octopus flying up and down there. Really cute, but he is also going to charge away, and that is not going to be a kill. So far in 4 minutes and not a single kill yet. No bloodlust. This game is still very much competitive.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been a bit close. Like, Pebbles, he needs to be careful of his positioning because had he got hit onto the tail end of the, the tsunami charge, he would have been tower range, and Kraken would have been able to constantly harass him. Unfortunately, he didn't have the mana at that time, so he wasn't as in a bad position as I really say. But yeah, I mean, still, he needs to be a little bit more careful as to how he plays it, in my opinion. I want to say that Aluna is doing a pretty decent job of at least collecting the runes every time it's possible, but that also has to do with the fact that Ophelia is in the jungle. Unfortunately, Ophelia hasn't had much impact in this game just yet, and he's farming relatively slow in my opinion. I mean, at least now he is level 5, so he's gonna have the ability to capture 2 creeps, and that will be very useful for him.
Yep, it is, and that's it. We do have a lot of stunners on Team Legion side. Can't really say so for Team Hellborn, but it seems fairly legit to a certain extent. You have got Tsunami Charge from Kraken as well as the Luna as Soul stunners there. Of course, a couple of Minotaur is going to help advance the position a little bit better, but I don't see how it's going to really outdo against the Torturer, the MOA, the Bubbles, even the Pebbles. Everyone there has, almost everyone on Team Legion has got a stunner, so that's a little bit in the advantage of Team Turtle Masters. And staring at this current situation, I mean, they're having sizable XP lead, but look at the stun there in middle lane, and the Kraken flies up and now again, but with the Bubbles kill, it is going to be good enough. And yes, 1 kill going out in favor of Team TurS. Snatching up the Bloodlust is the Bubbles all the way from the northern side of this map. He just flew there to show who is the king of the ocean against the big fat Kraken. But that's it.
Yeah.
We're just looking at 6 minutes in, and I'm just happy so far in. We're seeing a pretty fair game. I can still call it that way, but right now it seems like Torture is going to try and stalk on his Luna. Here comes the Sandwraith. It's definitely going to be a good kill though, but he will go to Hooky Hook because of a great stun there by Luna. So making sure that the carry doesn't really get a kill there, but he is still, I would just call, inches away from the double stacked Ancient that would have possibly ended the life of the Luna. It's a little sad to see they couldn't get denied in that sense, but it's fair. And yep, so game's still pretty much on the way here.
Yep, and I gotta say that
Ophelia top lane,
yeah,
Skull taking Lyric Lens to stun, but no, it's still very far-fetched to just kill the Bubbles there. He is after all the new king of the ocean, but...
I mean, the thing is, like, that was good rotation coming out from Bubbles earlier in the middle lane. That's very well needed for the Legion team, and they were able to take the first split from that. But I think there needs to be a little bit more. Oh, middle lane. Seems like Pebbles was taking a little bit of harass from Luna and Kraken, but he should be fine. I mean, like, it's kind of hard to kill a Pebbles who has double kind of stuns, I guess you could say, with a toss and the stalagmites. When you don't have like the best of burst damage there coming out from the Hellburn team. But yeah, coming back to my point, Bubbles actually should have a pretty decent time against Soul Reaper because I completely forgot that every time he uses the Judgment, he can always just take cover, and that's a pretty good spell to have against a Soul Reaper that just spams out the Judgment skill.
Yeah, he is, after all, a healing walking fountain. But yes, that's our Soul Reaper there, being played by 3Q, still very much the carry for team neolution.MRR, and they're just knocking out the tier 1, but it doesn't get denied. It's a nice little destruction there in play. And that being said, we do have Torture now rotating to the top lane to try and hold this fort here, while Bubbles goes back home to regenerate and purchase a nice little Amulet of Exile there.
Yeah, and I don't know, like bottom lane, the aggression was a little bit left off onto a Hag, and I don't think that's up bottom lane though.
Oh, Calphil, Bubbles goes in, nice kill, it is still gonna be very much legit, and 070 takes the fall quickly. 8 minutes in, only kills going out in favor of Team TurS, and that leaves you to wonder if MR can still pretty much win this game here. Yes, it's still very early to call it quits, but they don't have sizable farm on the Hag. Looking at the GPM charts, things are definitely going downwards for the Hag. Luna definitely playing support is not going to get any farm at all, but that being said, they still have got a Kraken that's very much relevant, as well as the Soul Reaper. So that's two very strong heroes from neolution.MRR that's getting farm. But they really need to take care of the Sandwraith that so far in is doing a really good job.
Yeah, it seems like Ophelia wants to set something up. I don't think you will be able to still set something up either ways. They have a beautiful Word of Sight placed here by Hooky, so it should kind of spot out Ophelia when he runs up. Shouldn't be much of a problem there for them. And what is this? Massive Arms is doing a good job of triple stacking this Ancient camp. I think it's triple stacked, right? Yeah, it is. It's wait, am I confused right now? Yes, it's triple stack. Okay, couldn't see it properly, but yeah, he's doing a good job of that. Bottom lane, yeah, just completely disregard whatever I wanted to say because Hag just got ganked again. I was about to say that that giving him space against a farm is really not what you want to do because he can easily come back into the game. But still, he is. I mean, he's relatively still kind of okay, seeing as to how he is given a bit of space right now. Sandwraith doesn't have the Energizer just yet, so he can't really harass the Hag as much as he really wants to. Like, yeah, when you have the Energizer, you have like the extra speed to just go ahead and constantly just auto attack the Hag, force him to use the blinks whenever it's up, and just, you know, in the end just making him waste a lot of the mana. But yeah, I mean, so far it's pretty passive right now in this game. Pebbles doesn't have his portal key just yet. He should be having it sometime soon. He's already sitting at 1.3k gold, so definitely should have that. And once he has that, can definitely expect a lot of ganks coming out from the Pebbles with follow up from Sandwraith, and that should be an easy way for Sandwraith to pick up on farm and EXP. And when he has that, he's going to be able to get a lot of gold onto himself and levels. So that's always a good thing to have on Sandwraith in the early games. But yeah, look at Pebbles here. It's gonna run into a Luna actually, so he needs to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, and well, there we go. Nice little harass onto the Kraken. And that being said, I mean, we're just looking at this game here. 10 minutes in, and MR, they are not getting any kill, and that's a little worrisome. But I would say that maybe you can really rely on the Soul Reaper, because the moment they start pop training, which is just right about now, all 4 members plus the Soul Reaper, if the Congo gets in the middle lane, it could prove to be a little bit too much of the tank, as well as healing potential coming from the Walking Fountain. And maybe Turtle Masters might have a little bit of trouble to deal with here, but they still have got an Acid Bomb to work with. Acid Bomb from Master of Arms, definitely very strong, but the current situation doesn't seem to be working very well. Nice stun on the Illusion, great play there by Luna. Bomb Rusher Paul doing a good job. Kraken taking a little bit of a sidestep into the jungle, but he will just stay safe. That's again another fake Luna that is going to be hiding behind there, and they better take care of that, because that's going to be free vision for Team Hellborn. Bubbles going in, but not going to commit to that. And yep, they are going to pot away, and that is going to summarize that nice little push initiative from MRR. So overall, just 50% chip damage on to the defense tower at the tier 1 here, middle lane. That being said, that's just about that, man. Level 6 hack going back down south.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing about Legion's lineup. They have so much anti-push against Enophilia, and the thing is, they have to. It's really hard for a Hellborn team to push down towers like you saw right there. Like, yeah, they got a Luna, they have Ophelia as well, but they don't have. I mean, they have the Soul Reaper heals as well, but you gotta remember that there is a Torturer, Master of Arms, Bubbles, and Pebbles over there on the Legion side, so they can easily clear out creep waves no matter how many times you heal, and eventually it'll come to a point where you don't have enough mana to use when a team fight happens. So that's why you see them actually backing off right there. A nice ward I gotta say being placed by Look Like Leaf on the Ancients coming out for the Hellborn side. It is triple stack though. Hopefully they do. Both teams decide to take their triple stack camps, as it's been sitting around for quite a bit. For a couple of minutes actually, I gotta say. Sandreef actually just forsakes the Energizer and goes for the quick Firebrand, which is okay in my opinion. Although Energizer is a pretty good item that helps the team out a lot more. But at least some sense of life for a Legion team is that Pebbles does have the portal key.
Kraken. Yep, Kraken just used the ulti there on that triple stack Ancient. It seems like it will be spotted up by the Desert's Curse from Sandreef, but that being said, no one is really going to try and clear this up. That well, I don't really see any of those groups there dying. Maybe a few Dragon, and that's just about there. There we go. Soul Reaper actually getting caught out here by double stunners, and yes, it could be enough, but the Bad Blast is just going to be a big turnaround event. X-Sign Z, the Pebble struggling run away. Here comes Ophelia, and he takes the fall. Next in line, Torture Hooky Hook actually going to face off with a Flying Octopus, and he takes a second fall there. It's going to be 2 kills in favor of MR when they start to do it really nicely. And now all 5 members gonna nicely try and clear up these triple stack Ancients. I can't really say so for Team Legion, because theirs is still pretty much sitting at this their own Ancient spawn. And that being said, man, almost 14 minutes into this game, almost no goal advantage at all. This is just how close this could be.
Yeah, but that was a beautiful team fight from MRR, and I don't see any reason as to why Pebble should have actually done that. Like, they know that they were doing Ancients, and the thing is, he should have known that there were a lot of supporting cast members in the vicinity, so there was really no reason for him to, you know, go ahead and portal key and use his combination. Like you saw right there, that was just really misplayed coming up from Turtle Masters, I gotta say. Like, there is really no reason for him to do that. Like, even though Sandreef was gonna port in, you gotta remember that they were doing the triple stack Ancients together, so definitely had some backup right there. And it looks like they want to push down this defense tower, and they should have no
look at this Kraken play here. It's the real deal. Couple of fake illusion, spot some water at Pebbles, and will after they fall back to try and help this team push down to tier 1. Fort's gonna be used out here. All 5 members, in fact all 10 gonna be here except for Sandreef. He's not gonna pot in, tower's gonna get destroyed. And that's that.
Yeah, perfect place coming from our. They just need to make sure that they get the early map advantage, so that they kind of dwindle the power of Pebbles right there. Like, you see he purchased a portal key already, but he has not been able to get much done. Finally they're going to be able to take out this triple stack Ancients, but I think this is going to be the only triple stack Ancients they're going to have in a while, because if MRR decides to ward that up and get vision of that area, it's going to be very difficult for Legion team to get that, especially seeing as to how they don't have the
oh my god,
tier 2 power. And yeah, Sandreef is definitely gonna die right here.
Yeah, aggression coming from MRR. He better take flight right now. He does still have Desert's Curse as well as the Energizer. Speaking of which, he does ultimately decide to pick that one up. And Bomber's Ball. Yep, Bomber's Ball landing the water side, but he's gonna pot away. And that's still gonna continue the aggression all the way from neolution.MRR. All 5 members right now down south looking to push down this tier 1. And they should be looking into this jungle a little longer, as it is full of trees behind. to see if there's a Sand Wraith, but it really doesn't matter because it's gone.
Destroyed a Legion tower.
And yeah, it seems like they are gonna do a little bit of reverse pusher from Turtle Masters, pushing up the top tier 1 by themselves. Also putting a little bit of regression at the middle lane tier 1. But other than that, it seems like they are a little bit bothered, but will not react to this tier 2 attempt by the HoN team. And all 5 members still gonna be here, very much united. They are not gonna just bail out on each other there. A little interesting to see.
I'm surprised that they don't want to port back. Like, this is the tier. I mean, like, they're taking too long to come and defend this. The tier 2 is like taken way too much damage in my opinion this early into the game. It's like 60 minutes in only, and they're not gonna give up. I think they're gonna go in again.
Yep, they are not. They're not going to give up. It seems like only Reshitek's taking a little bit of a back position. But playing as a quarterback there, we can definitely see the Babael in great positioning coming up from 070. It's pretty much expected. However, there's a severe lack of lockdown potential from MRR. Only release the Kraken being the only skill that's going to be able to just lock people in place. But even then, it's not a perfect skill. Horan being shot out all the way from Davy Jones, and it seems like tower is still going to be destroyed nonetheless. So defense will fail here, and they are just going to try and pull back. And finally, going to try and address the Sand. There has been solo pushing at the top lane. And so far in, I just like the aggression coming from MRR, and that will win themselves about 1,000 goal lead so far into this game. And 3-2, about 17 minutes in. And Sandrift, is he going to be able to catch someone? Yep, he definitely is going to pawn into Luna. That Bomb Rusher Paul takes the fall quickly, and behind is going to be Ophelia. Equally trouble there, but we do have Leorix being the saving grace. Invisible Sandrift going in once again. In case you don't know, Leoric is our good friend Skeleton King there. Yep, and also Minotaur. He is still looking for the Ophelia, but what a position to try and pot away there. And yes, the Pebbles will spot it out. Great Selkamites. And at the very end, that's going to be end of Ophelia, their mother of nature. And it seems like that tower at the middle lane is also going to go down. And well, that's it, man. We're just looking at a very interesting turn of events coming from Turtle Masters. Snagging up 2 kills as well as the tier 1.
Yep, really good plays over there. That was really interesting to see. It's so funny to see that like Aluna was just running for the invis and just got completely denied access from that. Sadriff just came in and like beat the crap out of him. So yeah, it's just really unfortunate. And Ophelia died as well, so I mean, it's not the biggest of deals. Like Ophelia's like one of those heroes. Like if his hero dies, yeah, that's kind of sad. But if his creeps are still alive, then it's not as problematic for him because he really thrives on having those creeps, which he still does have. And surprisingly, he goes for the double Skeleton Kings into a Minotaur instead of the double Minotaur and 1 Skeleton King. So yeah, a little bit different.
Yeah, it is pretty different, man. Looking at this, still 5-2 here, and 18 minutes in. It's just how close and intense this game could possibly be. Now we do see a little bit of a nice Congo initiative coming from Team MRR, and all 5 of them are going to be lingering in the vicinity. In fact, all going to be in a Kong pit there. And we don't see Turtle Masters reacting. They do have a Ward of Revelation. That should not be enough for sight. But that being said, they are all going to nicely be spotted by Sandwraith, and Sandwraith is now going to pot in because all 5 too close. As in too closely positioned, there is no window for him to just spot and jump right in there. Pebbles is going to be harassed by Kraken. Kraken just pushes him all the way down stream, and yes, he's going to be tossed all the way back up again, and he's just going to pot away. But that's going to buy MR a lot of time on the Kong there, and here comes the Bubbles. But is he going to go in? No, it doesn't seem that way. Heck's going to go in a little bit. Nice stun by Leoric again. And the Kong goes down. And right now, Turtle Master's looking to take Bill, but it seems like a hasted Octopus looking to just release a fellow version of himself. Is going to try and nicely go in and kill the Bubbles. But Bubbles again looking to run away. Is he going to be able to pot away? No, he is not. And that's going to be 1 kill in favor of MRR. And they still have got that token of life nicely completed on the Soul Reaper.
That was so unfortunate. That looked like almost big plays, but turned out to be a pretty small play. I'm not sure why Bubbles decided to port into his a shell over there when they were doing the Kong, and there was no backup, and I don't think he could have been able to snipe out the token. Like the shell surf was a little bit too short to reach into the Kong pit, so bit of a misplay. But yeah, still like it's a little bit harder now for them. Soul Reaper does find a complete Gnome's Wisdom, and he is sitting at about what on a Pickle Brain and a Glowstone, so he's gonna have the Icon of the Goddess soon, and that's very, very good for him.
Ooh, nice stun there
Yep.
by the Pebbles, but that makes it still going to be nothing at all at the very end. And still looking about 20 minutes in, I mean, so far in, 5-3, man, Lark, and it could be anyone's game, but MR definitely have got a slight advantage right now. It seems like they are able to just gel their abilities a lot better in terms of being all 5 together and stuff like that. Whereas for Team Legion, I can't really say so. I mean, I thought they've got a lot of burst potential, but they don't. They do have the lockdown. They just don't have the damage to just wipe them out really cleanly and quickly. Only Iron Man, but he does already have got a Jomidas Bane, and that is in itself is very respectable.
Yeah, I mean, having the Jumida's Bane just offers that much more when he ports in to help out like the pebbles when he's ganking around, or the bubbles. Like, it's always good to have that. It's just so unfortunate. You take a look at look like if he plays the Warrior of Revelation there, is unable to spot out the Warrior of Revelation coming out from Bomb Rusher Paul, so they're still not gonna be able to have the what do you call this, the Ancient Camp to work with anytime soon. So that's just really unfortunate. As for the Hellborn though, they've not taken the ancient camp as much, even though that they are constantly warding that. I mean, the Legion team that is. So not the biggest of deals for Hellborn having the ancients not jungle warded off. But yeah, I mean, so far so good for the Hellborn team. They have everything going for them. They have a lot of team fight items. They have the Astrolabe, the Mana Ring. They even have the Souls Bulwark up in Kraken, and as well as the Gnome's Wisdom up from Soul Reaper. And he has tokens, so they can really take any team fight if they really want to.
Yeah, I hate to say this right now, but it seems like Turtle Masters suddenly find themselves on the back foot. They do have Iron Man, but Iron Man is still pretty much not farmed up yet. And if this goes on, that aggression coming up from Team MR is not going to stop. They are still pushing on both the middle lane as well as the bottom lane, but Bubbles has already ported back home here. And MR, all 5 of them still standing in sheer terror, just facing at the base of Team Legion. And Soul Reaper takes a little bit of a chip damage from the stun, but heals it up nicely with Judgment again. And yep, although they're not able to deal too much of a damage here onto this tier 3, I really feel that they are not going to give this up yet. And only Sandrick is going to be able to split push because of the cheat Mirage that he does have for skill. And yep, he's going to try and rotate to the middle lane right now. But MRR is still lingering in the top lane.
Yeah, I'm actually hoping for some big $1 million bubble plays soon. Hold that thought. It looks like they want to go onto Soul Reaper.
Sandriff chomping on the Soul Reaper there, but here comes the Ophelia. Maybe the stun or not. What a quick Jomidas Bane, and still because of the path walking ability that he has from Desert Skirt's gonna try and run it. But here comes the bubbles. 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe a kill or not. He is gonna try and build. It's really cool how he just walked out of there like a boss. Like,
yeah.
I can't do shit to me. I'm just gonna walk off this. Not even gonna have to try and pot away, you know, because he already used the portal key. But that said, Hellborn is pretty much in a very firm position right now, and still no goal lead yet, but we can definitely tell that Team Hellborn, MR, they've got the advantage in terms of push potential, and if this goes on with the extra 2 minutes, 40 plus seconds on the Token of Life, we definitely can tell that they are going to be able to push a lot better in the next few minutes.
Yep, and in fact right now, some signs of life for Legion team is Pebbles just finally finishes his Shrunken Head, so you shouldn't be as worried into jumping into a team fight whenever a team fight pops up. But at the same time, you look at Richard Hag. I think he just purchased the Warhammer, so he should be having the like he needs 1k more gold before he picks up his Shrunken Head, and that will be another huge pickup for him. As for Kraken, he's pretty far away from getting the Demonic Breastplate finished up, but he should have that sometime soon. It's like right now, I'm not sure why Legion team isn't trying to take a team fight head on. Yes, the items are there onto the Hellborn team, but that's mainly to do with the fact that they decided not to. I mean, they decided to trade towers in the previous engagements. Like, they could have easily protected their base right there. I mean, not base, their towers if they really wanted to.
Oh, he's the Kraken Octopus taking flight there, but Cheetah 1X is not gonna commit. It's just gonna try and nicely draw us a map using the Desert's Curse. Yeah, but
he's not gonna
he's just not gonna go in. And I don't know, but there was a little bit of a nice potential to just jump in, but the rest of his teammate doesn't even have any single portal key, so no mobility at all from MRR except for Kraken with the haze there. So still pretty much a good call to not commit too much into that one there. But still, all 5 of them now gonna try and push down the middle lane. Seems like they're a little bit torn between their decision whether as to push the top or the middle, but all 5 of them still putting forth a lot of early game aggression here. They still have got a hack as well as the Soul Reaper to bang on for the late game, but I don't see why the need to just urgently push down a particular lane. Maybe because they've got a slight advantage or so they think, and they're trying to milk on that. But we're talking about defense here, and really, defense coming up from Turtle Masters is definitely very strong there. Look at the amount of damage it is on Soul Reaper because of this small little acid bomb, as well as a very quick amount of damage coming from Torturer, but that's just about that. And yep, it's pretty clear right now that MRR has got no way that they can possibly go in and push down any single tier 3 towers just yet. So they should possibly just give it up that notion and try and catch people like Sandwraith that has been farming all the way down at a really absurd pace down south. Let's check the GPM charts. It's just about 470 GPM on the Sandwraith, pretty much leading the entire game. We do have about 400 GPM on the Soul Reaper, as well as about 350 on the Kraken, but that's just about that there. Pebbles trying to catch up with about 350, but there we go. Already completing and shrunken it is this Sandwraith, as well as the Pebbles, both of them having that magic immunity. It means a lot to them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially against Bad Blast coming up from Hellborn team. And I mean, Release the Kraken still does a pretty decent amount of damage, and it will still get them stunned. I mean, sorry, it will get them stunned, but it won't do damage to them, so they don't need to worry so much about that. Soul Reaper, of course, same thing with the Demonic Execution. Does that mini stun, but will not do damage. So at least it's very good items coming up for both of them. Hopefully soon Sandwraith will pick up on the next damaging item for his next item. As for Hag, he's very close to the Shrunken Head, and that's gonna be pretty good. I'm actually surprised they didn't want to push in the base tower there in the middle lane when Soul Reaper still had Token of Life, so very questionable in my opinion, because they could have actually taken a team fight against the Legion team.
Yeah, it's interesting. Now Pebbles looking for a little bit of a window here to jump in there, and he's gonna try and nail the Luna. Yes, he will get it. Here comes the Sandwraith also. Sandwraith trying to try and catch up on the Wretched Hack, but will not get it done there.
Yep, and there's really nothing much to do right there. Soul Reaper needs to be a little bit careful, because he should know that Pebbles and Sandwraith was in the vicinity. Yeah, he's actually gonna spot him out with the Invis right here.
Yep, invisible Pebbles gonna say hi to the Soul Reaper, and Desert's gonna nicely connect, and Soul Reaper finding himself without a token is in fact in a lot of trouble here. No help at all from the rest of his teammate, wasting even Demonic Execution. It's not as if it has the longest cooldown, but about 80 seconds is still a lot, longer than his own respawn time. So I don't really see how that's gonna be exceptionally effective. That being said, it is still going to be nicely turning in favor of Turtle Masters right now. They do have a nice lead of about 3k gold. And in 28 minutes into this game, they are pretty much having a slight lead here against MRR, who for no apparent reasons, because of a failed ability to try and push down the tier 3s, have found themselves at a little bit of a slight disadvantageous position.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, they had all the items in the world to really take a team fight plus tokens, so very questionable. But oh wow. Bubbles actually at the top lane. Not sure why he decided to do that. I think he knew that the Release the Kraken was off cooldown, and Kraken would have used that. But I think either ways he should have been fine. So, anyways, just wanting to make sure that he doesn't get picked off from Kraken right there. Kraken is gonna be able to purchase his Demonic Breastplate soon. I think 100 more gold, or he has it ready. As for Hag, he just finally finishes his Shrunken Head. Barrier Idol completed on Ophelia, so a lot of items, even much more items coming up from the Hellborn team that they can take another team fight again. And that Barrier Idol is really huge for them, because it cuts a lot of damage coming up from the magic damage from Torture, Bubbles, and as well as Pebbles. Of course, they will still take damage from the Acid Bomb, as that's physical, so yeah.
And we do have Kraken nicely pimping himself with a new set of armor. Yes, it's the Demonic Breastplate completed already. I do believe that it is gonna be in his inventory at home, and the courier is gonna nicely ship it all over to maybe Thailand for him. But that being said, we are just looking at Team MRR. All 5 of them again gonna try and take down Kong. And previously, I do recall a match whereby a team took Kong 3 times, but because they didn't have the ability to push inside, they pretty much surrendered the match there. I certainly hope that this is not going to be a remake of that particular game here. But that being said, we are just looking at about Turtle Masters this time around. All 4 of them, in fact 5, going to be here soon. And it's going to be staring in favor against this concrete there. And yeah, Bubble's going to try and throw his shell in for a nice little vision. But the amount of damage on this Kong is just too slow and too low. The Kongor, the big ape there, standing about level 59, is still pretty much alive there. And finally going to try and march out here, but there we go. Turtle Master's going to jump right there onto this Ophelia that Karax. In a lot of trouble, and yes, Bubbles coming in and maybe sweeping out the Mother of Nature. That's gonna be it, and we do have The Kraken releasing himself again on the ground there. Not gonna kill anyone just yet. Still a lot of damage going on all favors. XINZ taking the fall next. And yes, Soul Reaper is gonna be able to execute that Sand Wraith. And meanwhile, Bubble's gonna try and take a little bit of a different route there, but Judgment's gonna turn things around nicely in favor of DQ. And MRR standing really firm against this Bubbles there. He is gonna try and pot away. Great pot there by the portal key, and now Homecoming Stone being used, and Kong is still in a very low health position. So it is gonna go in favor of MRR, but Kraken better be really careful right now. This is one big angry hit, but with Soul Reaper, who's kidding, man? He's definitely gonna have the help of his mate, and will definitely stand there. So, yep.
That was clutch, and that had to do a lot with the fact that the Icon of Goddess, every time you kill a hero, or a hero dies in the vicinity, you get a charge, you get that 30 health and mana regen, and that was like the main thing that got him back into it, because Sandreef was just trying to wail on him as hard as possible. You see actually Bubbles trying to pick up the kill on Soul Reaper, she's gonna miss. But yeah, I mean like, Sandreef just tried his best to you know, finish him off with those, with that little tooth picker of his, whatever you want to call it, a little twig of a blade, and was not able to kill him off, and that had to do with the fact that the charge coming in from the Icon of Goddess helped out, plus the ultimate coming out from Demonic Execution. So it's really, really well played by them. And I have to say that Bat Blast was a little bit late to come out. It only hit Sandwraith at the end of it, but that was just very necessary. I gotta say, it's good place by him to just hold on to that ability instead of just blasting it right away, because I think during that during the skirmish, both Pebbles and Sandwraith had their shrunken heads up, so it wasn't gonna do much. So good play there coming out from Richard Hag.
Yep, and Hag's still pretty much into this game here, standing about 14 levels in. He still has got about 2k gold in the bank, and I do believe that he should be looking at a bit more offensive items, maybe going for the quick Grimoire of Power quickly, but still, I don't know, man. Maybe a Kuja Shipstick would be a lot more effective in this particular game against the Sandwraith. They do need to take note that Sandwraith is pretty much farmed up already at about level 18 and having really good farm of about 460 plus GPM.
Yeah, I think this is one of the very rare cases where it's okay for Hag to just like skip the Grimoire and straightway go for the Culture Sheepstick, and that's mainly to do with the fact that the Initiator and their carry for the team both have the Shrunken Heads already, so you know, just waiting for it to expire and not having the ability to hex them down before the engagement happens is not as ideal if they were to take a team fight. So yeah, definitely think he should go for Kuldras, but it seems like he just wants to go for Grimoire still, so it's okay. I mean, like, it's gonna boost up his farming.
Oh no.
But
War
yeah.
of the Oceans. Here comes Sir Davy Jones. Mr. Chitawana explaining as the Kraken that he will spot out the bubbles but will not get anything done. Meanwhile, Sandreef is just snatching up the Ancients of Team Hellborn, and that is really nice to see.
Yeah, I think he's gonna go for a Brutalizer straight. He already does have the Quick Blade finished up, and I think he's just gonna save up for gold for buybacks as well, just in case anything happens. And yeah, I mean, he should be fairly fine. Not sure if he wants to go for, yeah, he's gonna go for Brutalizer. I was uncertain whether or not he wanted to go for the what do you call it, the Nullfire Blade, because I don't really see its effectiveness here. Yeah, maybe you can kind of cancel out the Ophelia's Judgment. Wait, does it cancel? I can't really remember. I think it does.
What
so, yeah.
cancels Ophelia Judgment?
The Nullfire Blade, because Ophelia's Judgment used to be is a buff, right?
Oh, that's really deep.
Yeah, it's a
question.
buff. Yeah,
Yeah, I think, yep, it's a buff. It should be able to be cancelled, but well, really
like,
depends to see if that's actually gonna be played here, because I don't see look like Leaf picking up the Nullfire Blade, and I don't think that Sandreef should actually go for that kind of item right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, I was just thinking, like, I was kind of worrying whether or not Sandreef was gonna go for that Nullfire, but yeah, he proved me wrong. Went for the Brutalizer, so that's exactly the item he needs. He can probably go into something a bit more tankier if he wants lifesteal. He doesn't have an orb effect just yet, so he can go for practically anything he wants. He can even go for a Frostwolf Skull if he really wants to, but I don't think that's like the ideal item of choice, seeing as how they have a Soul Reaper and a pretty damn tanky Kraken. Soul Reaper is just gonna cut through his health with the help of the extra boost of HP from the Frostwolf Skull. So yeah, I mean, Soul Reaper, he picked up on a Culture Sheepstick already, so he's doing really, really well right now. I feel like nowadays Soul Reapers, they just don't go for the Grimoire of Power anymore, and I guess that's kind of understandable, seeing as to how you can pick up items like Icon of Goddess and Culture Sheepstick. It helps out a bit more in terms of survivability, because if you're still alive and you're constantly pumping out heals, then it should be fine for team fights.
Yep, it should be. And that being said, I mean, against the Soul Reaper, it really is a love and hate relationship there for the opponent carry. Simply because if you pumped up health points, you have to remember that it is not effective. It's basically for every 1,000 health points that add to your own health pool, effectively against the Soul Reaper, that's only considerably just 500. Again, but if you pop the armor route and try and make yourself a little bit tanky by using armor, it's not really effective also because you still have got very low health points to deal with. And against the Soul Reaper, it's just one of those situations that you better try and nuke him down before he nukes you down. But this Soul Reaper is just standing about 2,000 health points, and definitely with the Token of Life plus an Icon of the Goddess that's just staring at about 4 charges. It's just very hard there, but Release the Kraken is going to be used meanwhile, and Kraken again trying to kill out the Pebbles there. It's a muscle fight, big of the... best of both worlds there. It seems like we just look at stuns coming up from Torture, and there we go, Pebbles. It's gonna have a little bit of a slight smile because Kraken is being taken out. Meanwhile, Sandray pops the ulti. Is he gonna come into it? Yes, he is. He's gonna be Shrunken Head. Also, now nicely trying to pick up the Luna. Soul Reaper in a lot of trouble himself. It's actually gonna go down, but he does have the token, and he is gonna come back here. But I really wonder what's gonna happen because there's no support whatever. But here we come, speaking of support, there was 70 big bad plus, and yes, X-Sign Z. Oh, he better run away, but he will not be able to do so. There we go, Bubbles next in line. Trying to pot a reverse shell there, and yes, he's gonna be able to do that successfully. Send Rave meanwhile hiding behind there. He did manage to pick up Colorex, and that's just the Ophelia. But here we go, Hack as well as Soul Reaper trying to nicely catch up with the Sand Rave. There is no more demonic execution on the Soul Reaper, so there's no way they could possibly stop the TP of this Sand Rave. And that being said, they're just wasting their time.
Yeah,
but he does have a Cold Ship Stick though.
Yeah, he
so
does. Yeah.
That should be pretty fair, but they will not be able to use that in that engagement, and that's going to be calling off that potential push again. So again, Lark, they failed a push from MRR side, and if this goes on, they also wasted the token. They would possibly lose this game.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes back to the fact that Baptiste was a little bit late again. I feel like for MRR to really win a team fight, they need to get the perfect jump initiation. If you saw right there, the reason they lost that was a beautiful initiation coming out from Bubbles. He ported in, just port back out, and then it looked like he wanted to go back, but he actually popped the kelp field instead, and then that's when you saw Sandrave come in, and then the rest of the supporting cast members come in as well. So a little, like really big misplay there coming out from RR. If I'm not mistaken, the Soul Reaper was able to hex off the bubbles right in the midst of the start of the fight, so they should have actually gone and killed off the bubbles straight away. But still, I mean, either ways, MRR, they aren't, I wouldn't say they're not out of it like just yet, because they still have a Wretched Hag that can easily carry this game, transition to the carry stage. They have a Kraken who is pretty damn tanky. They have a Soul Reaper as well who can just constantly pump up heals. Like, the survivability coming up from this entire Hellborn team is just so damn high. But it's gonna slowly come to the point where Legion team is just gonna out DPS them and out how can I say, just out CC them, because you look at Bubbles, he does finally have the Culture Sheep Stick as well. So I think definitely this game, Hellflower could be in the works for both teams, as that would be a perfect item to cancel out the Shrunken Heads should they jump in.
Yep, it is. And that being said, we're just looking at this game that is really close right now. 38 minutes in and no goal lead at all. Just about 1k in 38 minutes is very negligible. Also, no experience lead, so it seems like both teams are pretty much fair. We do have a really over-leveled Sandrave, but that's just Sandrave. The rest of his teammates is pretty much not doing a very good job. As in terms of leveling, as well as Team Hellborn, pretty much spread a little bit closer and tighter. It's the rest of his team there, level 11, 13, 16, 19 and 18 respectively. So MR is still trying to push down. They do know that something is wrong. If they still don't push down the lane, they're gonna have to fight the Sandrave in the late game. That's not gonna be easy for them. So opting for a little bit of a wiser selection, they're trying to just knock off the tier 3. Top lane again, no token this time round, and it's taking a lot of damage right now. Defense still not gonna be played. Sandrave not gonna pop the ulti just yet. Tower's being destroyed, but he is trading off the Rex in the mid lane. Oh my god, it's the melee barracks that has been Rexed out in the mid lane there. The rest of his teammate, what a great Kelp it is also, by the way. Just all three of them nicely snagged up there. But Sandrift is still pretty much gonna try and pot away right now. Yes, he pots back home, and maybe it's time to go and make a statement here. Chidomanex in a lot of trouble there. Kraken actually taking the fall against the Pebbles, and what a great bad blast, but against two of them that has got very nice avoidability skills. One is being in Shrunken, the other one in the shell there. It's gonna be very wasted. That being said, Soul Reaper in a lot of trouble right now, and Pebbles just smashing him, skull in one by one. Will not get anything done. He does go down at the very end though. Ironan will pick that up nicely. Xine Xena Pebbles. is still standing after the demonic execution. So that being said, MRR, as I mentioned, failed to push again and again. They are now at the back of this game, standing at about really barely, as in barely raxed out melee barracks. It's still pretty much standing about 25% health points, but you can bet that Team Legion, they're just gonna come in right now.
Yeah, I mean they should. Like they have all the means to do so. There is buybacks on the Hellborn team. I'm not sure why they didn't want to force it up. But I think they already know that they can easily take the set of Raxes, and they know they shouldn't waste the gold. So not the biggest of deals. Like they're gonna get at least one set of Rax and then back off. So I think they're just banking on it, which is happening currently. They don't want to waste on gold, and they're gonna revive pretty damn soon. Like Kraken is gonna be up in like a couple more seconds. You see Soul Reaper as well. He's gonna be up as well in 20 seconds. You actually see he's gonna go for a Behemoth's Heart for Kraken. So he just wants to be as tanky as possible, so that him and Soul Reaper will be alive to just constantly do harass during team fights. Hello?
Yep, yeah, and
Yeah.
that's that. So I'm just digesting this set of information right now. But we're just
Okay.
looking at MR having a little bit of a bad play right now. They do lose out all Rexes at a mid lane. That said, really, Kraken, I mean, even though you say that he wants to get really tanky items such as Beam Side and stuff like that, he definitely didn't last very long in the previous engagement, going up against the Sandwraith as well as Pebbles, plus what have you all over the team Legion. That is just pretty scary combination at the very end there. Also, do note that there's already a Coldra ship stake being formed up on the bubbles. So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
would
I
be,
mentioned that as well.
yeah, that would be pretty big also. Just
Sandwraith,
picture.
yeah, sorry, Sandwraith just picked up on Frostwolf already, so I guess he wants to go for the ability to just make sure that the entire Hellborn team cannot kite him down. And I think that's okay, because that's a pretty good item against Kraken as well. Kind of negates the splash effect coming out from his third spell. But still, it's kind of like a double-edged sword against the Soul Reaper, because the more HP you have, if they can burn you down really quickly, he can take you out with just one demonic execution so damn fast. Yeah, I like to see a bit more damage item based for Sandwraith, despite seeing the Frostwolf Skull, and I don't know, like he can still sell off the Energizer, get some other attack. I mean, he could get for like, I don't know, a critical if he really wants to, and then just sell off the boots and get boots of travel. That's pretty much fine as well. He's actually gonna port somewhere. I'm not sure where he is porting it to.
Yep,
Yeah, he's gonna go for Luna.
Yep, again the Luna, but Luna right now. Oh, the Brutalizer is gonna end the dream of trying to run home there. Bomb Rusher Ball takes the fall, and Iron Nun will pick up the kill quickly. And that's gonna be a legendary streak all the way out for the Sandwraith. That being said, level 24 already, 43 minutes into this game. Turtle Masters finding themselves finally having a slight amount of lead at this really gruesome game 1 that they are facing off against MRR. But neolution MRR, man, they just suddenly just got broke down some way. Lara, can you maybe analyze for us to see what exactly went wrong for them?
Well, the main thing is the fact that they didn't push when they had the token up, and it got to a point where Legion team was finally slowly getting the items that they needed to really take team fights. Like you can see supporting cast members getting pretty buff, and you have to remember this is a torture support we're talking about. So once he gets those levels and farms in the later stages of the game, he's gonna do a lot of work, and that's exactly what he did. Like he does a lot of damage. It kind of negates the effect of the barrier idol in a sense. So it's just really tough for Hellborn to try to push into the base after a couple of failed attempts, and the fact that they didn't push in to the middle lane when they had the token of life. So huge misplay there. Sandwraith actually just got spotted out by Kraken. But yeah, I mean, it's just really unfortunate for them. And Legion team, they got the farm that they needed for their main heroes, as well as a lot of CC items like Bubbles.
Oh, is a Hexed Up Bubbles there. Yes, release the Kraken. Also going to be used here. Bubbles going to take the fall there. Finally, Kraken winning the engagement there, but we do have the Sandwraith coming to play here. And Iron Nun actually by himself going to be able to just survive this whole ordeal here against 4 members. He does pick up Colorex, and that's the Ophelia only. But now against the Wretched Hack, it seems like he's going to be forced to run away again. But here comes Kraken, and maybe, oh, what a close position it is. He nearly just Desert's Curse away, but it seems like Hack is able to just nicely sweep him up with the Sauna Scream. Yep.
Very bad play there coming out from Iron Nun. Like he knew, he should have known that Bubbles was definitely gonna die. The rest of the Legion team wasn't close enough that even if he popped his ulti and the Geometer's Bane, he wouldn't have been enough. It wouldn't have been enough to do enough damage right there. And he didn't pop the Shrunken Head, so big misplay coming out from Iron Nun over there. that's a huge kill in my opinion, because that kind of brings back MMR's chance to win the game. If they get the second token, they can definitely push down towers if they want to, because both Kraken and Soul Reaper are working towards Behemoth's hearts. And if they both get that, it's gonna be very, very hard for them to come back.
Spank that monkey.
Yep, and there we go. Monkey being spanked the third time by Team Hellborn, and they basically have got a lot here against Team Legion, and well, they do have the entire middle lane rexed out against Team Legion, but other than that, we're just looking at about 45 minutes into this game, and Team Legion, they do have the slight lead here. This is just game 1, by the way, and well, Bomb Rusher Paul's still gonna deny the tier 2, and that's very, very nice to see.
Oh yes.
I mean, at least the goal doesn't go to the opponents, but other than that, it also will be a fact that will dawn on them very soon that they are now completely without any single tower standing on the outer layer, so they're very much vulnerable right now.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention that that Kong kill was bananas as well. It's up on Kraken, and he has Behemoth's Heart finish, so you can practically say that's like a 6k Kraken sitting in the midst of it all. Well, not really 6k, maybe 5.5k sitting in it all, because bananas only does heal for 2.5. But still, that's a huge amount. I mean, like, having the ability to just stand in teamfights and wail on people with the splash effect, just constantly hitting them down, it's very huge. I mean, he doesn't have anything to really lock them down or slow them down, but he does have kind of like the Soul Reaper to rely on with the Cuckoo Sheepstick, and like if him and Soul Reaper are able to survive long enough, I think they could do pretty decent work against the Legion team.
Yep, they can, but right now, Team Legion, for once, Thundermaster is going to try and initiate with a quick push down south, but himself, tier 3, severely challenged. And MRR is going to try and pot back here. It's only be Kraken, one by himself, but will not have too much of a support here. And there we go, Sandrift going to try and pot back here. And yes, he's going to try and catch up onto this Soul Reaper. What a mistake it is, because Bubbles is going to try and catch this Soul Reaper also. He does have the token, and it's going to be expelled nicely there. That makes a mission accomplished for Team Legion. They're going to try and pull back there. It's very, very good gameplay coming from Team Thundermasters. They also nicely snagged that tier 3 down south. So that being said, one tower as well as token expended. You gotta be kidding me, man. MRR, they had a chance at this, but right now again, they're just a little bit behind.
Yeah, that was a major throw in my opinion. Like, Soul Reaper had no excuse to be out that far. I mean, like, the rest of the teammates just ditched him way too fast, and that was huge. Because you gotta remember, when you have a Sandwave, he can easily port in whenever he wants to. You have a Bubbles with super high mobility that he was able to help and catch out the the Soul Reaper. So really big misplay. But that was a good call by Turtle Masters to straight away rush for the bottom tower right there, bottom base tower that is, because they knew that Hellborn team wanted to go in for a push into the middle lane, because they had token up, they had bananas up. So we know what's the best kind of defense, which is offense, which is exactly what they did right there. So really well played by Turtle Masters in that previous engagement.
Double damage there, still up for this Sandwave, but he will not commit any kill because this is just too reckless. No wards at all. Going out in the entire Hellborn jungle for Team Legion. That's it, man. Thundermasters this game, they have been playing a really safe game and playing it really defensively, always having just Sandray pushing lone lanes, and that being said has been very effective to a certain extent. That definitely helped them with the middle lane towers, as well as the fact that the defense is still pretty much alive. And it all really boils down to the amount of burst potential that team, as in AoE, as well as burst potential that Team Legion has. You've got the Torturer, you've got the Pebbles, as well as the Bubbles, all of them pretty much alive in terms of anti-push, plus the fact that you also have got the MOA with Acid Bomb. And I can't stress this enough, but Acid Bomb plus a Great Shell Surf would actually be very damaging to all the creeps there. And that being said, MR is having a really tough tide to turn, even though they've got Kraken and Sir Davy Jones all over their map there. But that's it. Team Hellborn, they are just standing right now a little tad behind in this entire game, and 49 minutes in, they're still pretty much having struggles defending the spot against Team Legion that's proven in terms of mobility so much more mobile than Team Hellborn. They do have a total of 2 Portal Key as well as 1 Mirage from that Sandwave, so that's very much mobile as compared to Team Hellborn.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so difficult to deal with Turtle Masters lineup right now in this later stages of the game. And like, heck, he does at least finally pick up Closure Sheepstick, but I feel like it's still too late in this part of the game, because Bubbles with that high mobility most probably is going to be the one to get you hexed first before you even pop the Shrunken Head. I actually hope to see Bubbles go for a Hellflower as his next item. That would be perfect item for him right now, to kind of like lock down the Shrunken Heads coming up from like the Hag, or like just silence off the Soul Reaper so he can't use the cool Sheep Stick of his own, as well as the Void Talisman. I'm actually surprised he went for Void Talisman because he just wants to avoid the damage coming from Sandwave right there. But nonetheless, like the thing is, like if you pop up the Void Talisman, they're just gonna go onto the rest of your teammates and just ultimately crush them so fast that even though you're alive, what are you gonna do alone? You can't do much. So again, it comes back to the point that uh, maybe he would have been better off picking up something like a Frostfield Plate that kind of slows down the attack speed coming in from Sandwave, but still, there's a lot of items that you can get. He doesn't even have the Behemoth's Heart completed just yet, so that's just really unfortunate. It seems like they want to push into the middle lane. It's very risky play, seeing as to how they don't have token. They still have bananas up onto Kraken, but it's not gonna be enough in my opinion because Legion team are just so damn farmed now that they can practically take whatever Hellborn is going to throw at them.
Let's get it
So yeah.
on.
Yep, that's it. So MR, all 5 of them right now, 15 minutes into this game, still pretty much game 1 here, and they don't really want to give up just yet. They still have got the middle lane nicely pushed out, as was the fact the bottom lane is still posing as a little bit of a threat here. They do have a really stacked up amount of creeps that's just looking to push down the bottom tower there, but having no tower, it has to be really careful because MR, man, they gotta be careful. If this creep wave doesn't slow down, they are basically gonna be able to just knock away that Rex also. That's it, they themselves led by Sir Kraken. All 5 of them gonna try nicely push down his Millibrex. We do have the MOA that's just nicely swimming in the vomit of the Kraken, but we shall not just further into that. Release the Kraken being used, but not very effective there. It's just nicely trapping the Pebbles as well as that Torturer. And well, sorry there, but the Millibrex is nicely challenged there. Here goes Kraken jumping into behind. He does want to pick up the kill on Bomb Rusher Fall. Gets that done really nicely there. And also the fact that he takes the fall quickly. 070 with a Savage Six Trick is going to nicely mop them up quickly. Kraken this time around with that Beam of Sights proving to be standing a little bit too long for Team Legion's liking. And he is actually going to go down at very end though. He does also waste that bananas, but it seems like Soul Reaper is going to take the fall nonetheless. And missing the stuns. What a clutch splash away it is by the Wretched Egg, but right now being chased after by 4 members of Team Masters. It's really doubtful if he can actually still stay alive, but clutch position to try and pot away, and he will be able to just skip safe. That's it. Well, nothing really lost in Team Hellborn space, so it's pretty much just fair, and the Millibrex actually pretty much wrecks down to about 20% health points only. So pretty successful push, but again, losing 3 members to just 1, it is a little bit too much for Team Hellborn to bear right now, because the counter push could be well in the way.
Yeah, I mean, they could counter push, yes, and that's definitely viable because they don't have buybacks. At least some
Top lane right now. Bubbles, actually with the help of the MOA, will decide to give up because realizing that Ophelia is just very tanky and too sexy for him. He decides to go back to the ocean and swim. But that's just about it from Team Legion, man. And all 5 of them actually gonna respawn quickly, but I don't know if they are gonna try and put forth a push. There is just no bananas on the Kraken, and that's just about it.
Yeah, Torture picked up Boots of Travel, so he went to the bottom lane with the help of Pebbles, his Invis. They can do a lot of work against this tower.
Hag's here.
Yeah, Hag is there, but I don't know, like Sandwave is gonna be up in like 2 seconds or 1 second, so if Hag decides to go in, it could actually turn out for the worse. There is a Savage Mace finally purchased on Sandwave, so a lot more damage coming out, which is really what Sandwave needs. It seems like he's gonna back off, which is a good call by them because they don't want to just risk anything just yet. But I gotta say, like, the best thing that Hellborn had coming out from the previous team fight was the fact that Pebbles bought back. That was just about it, so yeah. I think that's the only thing that they have going for them in the previous
so
team
it's not really a 3:1, but rather a 3:2 plus a buyback being expended on the Pebbles. But still, I mean, so far in, both teams have got very respectable items, and they're pretty much well into the late game here. So Reaper still not being very effective against the Sandwave, but he does, he would be able to just pick him off before anything else. But that being said, now other than just dealing with the Sandwave, we got to deal with a Pebbles that's just a little bit too overfarmed, and having the Demonic Breastplate means that he is also going to be having a quick, I mean, playing as a semi-carry right about now, and also like a Bubbles with the Kodra Shipstick that has been completed since years ago.
And he does complete Shrunken It though, so that's a pretty good item as well.
That also Shrunken It on the Bubbles is very nice to see. And that being said, I mean, Team Legion, they're just waiting to see if Pebbles can just fill in the role as a semi-carry, maybe even as a secondary carry against Team Hellborn. But Hellborn, they still have the Hag, and Hag, well, still no Kodra Shipstick on his Hag, and that's gonna be taking, sorry, as a Kodra Shipstick nicely completed already. I mean, still having no, the final item not being picked up just yet, maybe going for a little bit of the extra health flower would have been a lot better also. I don't know, what do you really emphasize on this hack right now?
I mean, Hellflower might be a hit and miss for them currently because there's way too many targets with shrunken hits now, since how Bubbles has one himself.
Here comes
Maybe
the
you can go
haste of
for a more.
Pebbles, here comes the haste of Pebbles, he jumps in right there, going for Mother Nature Ophelia, but will not get anything done at all. And yep, Bubbles shows his hard shell and will just back away, but yeah, that's just basically a full engagement on Team Legion part. But losing no one at all still really isn't that big a cost for them, so it's always good to try and not suffer any damage.
Yeah, but coming back to the earlier point, I think Hag needs damage right now. Like, he needs to be able to stand in team fights and auto attack down like
Harken's Blade.
Pebbles. I don't think Harken's Blade would be perfect because these are shrunken headed targets. Like, he needs to be able to deal a lot of damage towards them during their duration, so that he's not like kind of wasting his time when they pop it. Because I've noticed in team fights that he's always just running around, trying to do whatever he can before popping the Bat Blast, or even times he panics and pops the Bat Blast when there's like a beautiful take cover or a shrunken head up. So I don't know, like some right click items would
Savage
be
Mace.
yeah, Savage Mace would be a perfect item for a Hag. That would be really good as well to, you know, kind of cancel out the shrunken heads coming up from the Legion team, because it, like, who cares if you're shrunken head against him? I'm just gonna go ahead and auto attack you to death with my Savage Mace. So he definitely needs something to stand in team fights and auto attack, because he's not doing much without like spells. Like right now he's just waiting for his spells to be off cooldown. I mean, to have a chance to use the spells, and yeah, that's about it.
Kraken comes in from behind. Kraken there is actually gonna try nicely. What an insane damage it is on Hooky Hook there, but Hooky Hook playing as a torture gonna try to take Bill there. Meanwhile, it's gonna be a complete reversal behind here in the background there. Nice Kraken ulti also. But 070 playing as the Hack takes the fall, and it seems like Soul Reaper is not gonna be able to stand too much longer also. A great little push, but it's gonna be the fake Sand Ray. Meanwhile, the real Bubbles is gonna be facing up behind there, and it's gonna be Demonic Execution nicely executing out the Sand Ray, but a little bit too low in terms of health points to waste that skill there, but that's just fine. Meanwhile, Pebbles is gonna try and take a little bit of a weird route here. He's gonna try and run away. But yep, the Cooljar ship stick is gonna be the ultimate troll of them all, and yes, XNZ is gonna take the fall, and MRR successfully defending this spot here. Is actually gonna be just defend the middle lane also, and Masters finding themselves having a little bit of a hard time pushing. This is just a closest match ever between these two teams.
Yeah, that was huge team fight coming from MRR. Like, Turtle Masters, it looked really good for them because they were able to kill off the Hag like straight away. Like, they locked him down quickly thanks to the Closure Sheepstick. I think it was the Bubbles that got it off, and Hag just completely got bursted down so fast. And this is huge because at least now they can kind of force buybacks, because if you see the direction that they're taking, they're trying to push down the racks as soon as possible. Definitely buybacks will be used right there. You see no more buybacks coming out from Pebbles. This is huge right now.
Yep, Pebbles expending last buyback, tossing a fat Kraken up, and will not get anything done, but the Million Break should be the focus here. Bot's gonna be used here. Sandrave also gonna come back here. He also wasted a buyback, looking for extra kill potential, but Kraken is actually gonna be nicely tornadoed up. It's like he's not really used to that, and it seems like he's gonna be able to pull all the way back there by Ophelia also. Now Ophelia looking to run away, but there's also a Hack in his vicinity. Ophelia most possibly is gonna sacrifice himself there, and that's gonna be pretty sick because there's a banner on this. Ophelia should have given that to the Kraken before he left for home, but that's just fine. And he doesn't have a slot anyway. Maybe the Hack, yeah, Hack has a slot, but Hack didn't take that eye before she flashed away, and that was a little bit too clutch a moment. But right now, Kuja Shipstick gonna be used onto the Bubbles, and Bubbles actually using Calfill on the Soul Reaper, now returning the favor just in kind. Duikyo in a lot of trouble because there's a Pebbles behind, and this vicinity is just gonna jump on him, just really nicely tossing him all the way back to Shanghai. And there we go, Duikyo in a lot of trouble. It seems like the entire team Legion is just gonna try and nicely nom nom munch him down. But Kraken comes in to save the day. Somehow Soul Reaper still stands there. Soul Reaper still not going down, using Judgment, and a nice Kraken pushing Iron Man all the way to the trees there, and smashing his skull in. MRR still standing. neolution.MRR still not gonna go down just yet. And TurS Masters, you're just overextended. And hey boy, sexy lady, I'm just gonna try and push on the middle lane.
That was, oh man, that was so huge. Really, I was about to say it was a big misplay from MR because they overextended when the buybacks happened from Legion, but it turns out Legion team was the one that kind of overextended themselves, and that's really huge now because there's no buybacks on Pebbles. If he dies now, that's gonna be game ending right there. There's no buybacks on Master of Arms or Bubbles or even the Sandreef, so this is huge. Like, they should go right now. Sandreef, I think he's fairly tanky, but he can easily go down to the the work of Soul Reaper like you
Oh,
saw
no.
in previous engagements, but it seems like they're gonna back off.
Yep, they're gonna try and get Kong for the 4th time
Yeah.
in this entire game. Team MRR looking for Kongor. It's not as if that bananas or maybe even the token's gonna help you a lot. It would be the perfect opportunity, but they will not do that. They're just looking for the Kongor attempt right now. And Kongor's staying about level 117 already. It seems like he does a very nice amount of health points, about 13,400 standing. And that being said, Team Legend is not gonna come over here and try and attempt onto this Kongor also. I mean, there's a ulti up on the Sand Reef, but they're just not committing to that. And Kongor looking really vulnerable right now, going down quickly also. Kraken critical damage splash is just dealing about 250 damage. That's the main reason why one hit from his Kraken, and TurS was just screaming in sheer agony. But that's just that, and we're just looking at about 59 minutes, 60 minutes into this game. Game number 1 still up, ladies and gentlemen. 22 is to 21. If you're at home, even if you're at home, just clap your hands for these teams. They're doing really good, and it's still very much anyone's game here.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the closest games that we've casted. Like, it really, really, like, it's hard to tell who's winning. It's like back and forth, back and forth. At times you feel like, oh crap, MR is gonna win, or oh crap, Sunny Turtle Master is gonna win. It's like, nope, I'm just gonna troll you guys a bit. Gonna push down a bit, then go back. So it's really hard to see what's gonna happen right now. Sandra is trying to do his best to kind of like backdoor this top lane. But you look at how quickly Legion team responds. Like, again, Kraken has the bananas as well as the token up on Richard Hag. So holy crap, they are doing a lot of work. I really feel like Hellflower is so needed right now for like this Legion team, so that they can lock down a lot of the items coming. Like, if they're able to lock down the items coming from both Kraken and Soul Reaper, or even the Wretched Hag, that would be so huge. Because if there is no physical or magic community coming up from the players on the Hellburn side, they could easily burst him down, whatever means necessary. They have enough magical burst potential and as well as physical burst right there. They have the DPS coming from Sandwraith, they have magical DPS coming from Torture, so there's a lot of things to take into consideration, and Torture is slowly going to reach the point where he should be able to purchase a Cold Sheep Stick of his own, although I don't think it's going to be as soon, but if he is able to pick that up, that's going to be really, really big for them.
It is, but speaking about bursting down here, Sandwraith with Pebbles should not be looking to burst down the Soul Reaper, because this grandmother really frail looking thing is just standing about 3.7k health points with 13 charges on the icon of the goddess. There's just no way you can burst down this grandma. It's like impossible. Grandma riding on a nice little horse there. There's no way at all we can burst down this chap here. If we just look how effective it is in the middle lane engagement, where they were just really trying to burst down Soul Reaper. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna knock you over, but no, he was just standing there. And even with Judgment being used, he was just standing at very low health points and still very much effective. And that being said, because Soul Reaper is the kind of hero that just spews out a healthy air of judgment to his teammates, they're gonna nicely absorb that, and he's just gonna be a walking fountain right now.
Yeah, definitely. I feel it's looking really tough for Legion team as well. Like, both teams is so hard to push in, and that's because Albert team has a lot of defense mechanisms. I actually feel like maybe Sandwraith can actually sell off the Crossbow Skull and go for more of the what's it called, the Harkon's Bait, to just cut through Kraken and Soul Reaper. They don't have like the highest of magical armor just yet. They have the Barrier Idol to work with from Ophelia, but if they burst down Ophelia, then that just means that Sandwraith has free reign against these two heroes that are so damn tanky. Like, they're the main core member. They're the dual core right now in this team right now. They have so much HP that they're constantly in team fights, healing each other. Well, not healing each other. I mean, like, Soul Reaper's just healing the rest of his team while Kraken is just
Sandwraith
being
gonna say
annoying.
hi there, and Cold Rush is gonna be used there. Release the Kraken also gonna be used, and Sandwraith in a lot of trouble there. Not in time for the Shrunken Head. He is gonna take the fall. What a mistake it is, but Bomb Rusher Paul is gonna be the trade-off. But any day, I would trade the Sandwraith for Luna, no problem. MR right now, sick. I think definitely picking up the signs that this is the time to push forward. But Pebbles is gonna try and put himself a little bit behind there with the Blue Master's Call just knocking away at the melee barracks, and no one's gonna pop back home because no one has got a homecoming stone, and they're all just gonna nicely come in. But when it's the right time, Fort's gonna be used here, and only Hacks gonna come here, and they're both Shrunken Head. All three of them Shrunken Head. They're just nicely trading blow there, and nothing they could really do against the Shrunken Headed Pebbles, and they will all just fall away. But they just managed to just knock away the melee barracks there. It is a huge mistake on Team MRR's part not carrying homecoming stone. It's a basic mistake there, but yep, it's still a mistake nonetheless.
That was really huge. Big play there coming out from Legion team to just rush that. Like, I feel like right now it just comes down to the base rushing. Like, there is no need to have a team fight right now. Just, you know, go whenever you have the chance. I think they should just be sneaky, buy a courier, buy the puzzle box, buy the mana ring, send it to the enemy's base and go ahead. And in fact, this could be a time for them to go because Hellburn, they use the glyph already, so they won't have that up anytime soon. And Legion team still has their glyph, so they can easily take a team fight. Plus, both the mid Raxes is destroyed as well as bottom melee Rax, so they have a lot of entry options if they really want to. I actually saw Kraken purchase the, I think Savage. Yeah, he bought the Savage Mace right there.
Oh god.
Not a huge fan of that item. I think that there's a lot of things you could buy instead of that, but I think he just wants to have a stun.
Like,
Stun
he
kind
doesn't
of
even hit fast
mechanic.
enough.
Yeah, but oh no, hold the thought. Look at
Oh
Sandra.
yeah, quarter shifting on the center there, but nice little push box effect's gonna be there. So yep, team Hellborn again gonna try and rotate to the top lane there. Bubble's gonna come into play. Nice quarter shifting on the hack. Hack's in a lot of trouble there. But release the Kraken gonna be used, and Sandrave is gonna be paused back all the way there in kissing the Millibrax. That's gonna be a lot of punishment leashing on that. Torture takes the fall first. Next is gonna be Sandrave. What is Legion doing? TurS Masters might actually lose his right here, right now. There's still a buyback potential on the Sandrave. He's gonna use that quickly. Rushadak still standing, and Sandrave's gonna try and pot in right here to pick up this hack. But hack has got the token, so that's a grave mistake in its own right. And yes, Bad Blast gonna be used there, and that is not the real Sandrave. The real thing is behind there. That's just fine. Kraken a lot of trouble there. But Kraken looking to go down, but still standing. And yes, we still have Galuna doing a lot of work there, running all over the place, but getting nothing really done or killed. In fact, that's just a great deal of effect there. So yes, MR forced the last buyback there from that Sandrave, also from Hooky Hook. So that's gonna be it there. No more buyback from these two members also joining Pebbles. So only only the MOA has got a buyback left, as well as the Bubbles, and that's just that. But look at MR side, they've got all 5 members that's got buyback, so that's pretty scary.
Yeah, that was a huge win for MR. Like, they forced so many buybacks. They, like, I mean, like, usually from a general point of view, it'd be like, ah, crap, they weren't able to push in when they tried to, but they actually won in that team fight because all of them survived, no one died, and they forced two, well, I think it was, yeah, two buybacks. Hooky left without any buybacks, and that's huge because if they kill, like, either Iron Nun or X9Z, that's game. That's game right there. Like, Hellburn team can just push in, like, no issues at all. So this is a time where both, or in fact all 3 heroes should just buy whatever they can and fill up their inventories because they don't have any option to buy back. They need items like now. They need to buy whatever they can. Just fill up the inventory if you have the possibility of that. Like Massive Arms, he actually has a cooler sheepstick right now. That's huge as well. I didn't notice that. I think he just picked that up recently. So that's 3 Hellflowers. Wait, is it 3? No, that's 2 Hellflowers actually. Coming up from Legion team. There's a huge lack of disables coming from Legion team, and that's a major reason why they lost a couple of few team fights. And yeah, this could be it. Like,
yeah, this could be it because
I think they should go Throne. They should go Throne right now. Look at Sandrave.
It's just really focused there, going to go against the Tower of Salom there, against the defense tower by himself. All 3 members of him. Fake Illusions just doing so much damage there. No pot back still. And MR doing great well against Bomb Rush Ball. Sorry, Bomb Rush Ball taking a huge fall there. And Legion team doing great well against them, but they are just a little bit messed up here. Sandrave pots all the way back home. Got Kraken still standing somehow. That's not the real Sandrave, is it? Yup, it's the real Sandrave. The fake one still bashing on the tower there. Meanwhile, Hack's in a lot of trouble there, and Sandrave nicely stealing the kill there. Suri protects the fall, and boohoo, this time it's a different game altogether. MR losing a lot of ground here. And it's gonna be Kraken also. Kraken taking a huge fall after this and having just only the Pebbles dying there. It is a 5:1 exchange, and boy, what happened there, really.
That was huge. Very big misplays coming up from, I think it was the Hag and the rest of the teammates. Like, Hag didn't pop the Shrunken Head early enough. I wasn't really, I only came at the tail end of that. I was like focusing too much on Sandrave, but that was huge because they don't have any buybacks. Hag just used the last.
Like, you know, the real Sandrave is just spotted all the way up north and just knocking and just nibbling away at the tier 3. Will get it nicely chomped down. And now looking at the Millibrax, so the rest of his team in all with this stupid boot. It is just game breaking, man. Pose haste, all 5 of them now knocking at the range barracks. This is just insane. Only one Ratchet deck, they've got buyback, but no money for that. MRR finding themselves losing Sacrificial Shrine very quickly. Also, only a Luna's out. In the next 10 seconds, maybe Ophelia. And boy, those 2 ladies can dance on the pole all night long, but they will not get a throne save there. Sacrificial Shrine, a lot of trouble, and Bad Blast gonna blast away. And Shrunken Headed faces there, wasting the skill. But now Kutra Shipstick on the Torturer, maybe getting something done. But MOA, no, I'm not gonna let you go. Shrine goes down. Game 1 stun after a whooping 70+ minutes. They will take it to the Masters, man. Game number 1 will go to them, and it is a really epic game. It is really nice to bring into this game here, really quick and awesome.
Holy crap, that was so fun, guys. That was so epic in my opinion. I actually thought MR had the perfect opportunity and chance to win that. They just played it so horribly when they went to the top lane, completely got outplayed by the rest of the Legion team. They played that beautifully. Like Legion team, they knew what was on the line. They knew they had no more buybacks. They knew what they had to do. They went in with the perfect initiation. A lot of hexes went around. Like you have like 2 Culture Sheep stick up onto Legion team, and I was actually surprised because like they don't have enough. They don't have as much lockdown as compared to the Hellborn's team in terms of like item pickups. So so it's just shocking that they got caught out so bad. They died. Sandriff just ultimately ported back to base because he knew that at that time, if he ported back, it would be in the best situation for the Legion team because Hellborn they wouldn't have enough to buy back right there. So just really well played by Turtle Masters in that game.
Yeah, all I'm gonna say is the boy did that escalate quickly. Team Turtle Masters really just coming back quickly and making sure that they have got that huge pressure lead on MR. It's like playing a great mind game, you know, against a team that knows what they're doing. It's the best possible thing to do because they had members like Sandray pushing out all the way to bottom lane and just nibbling on that 2 towers that he eventually got nailed. Also the fact they've got a few members up north and they just went all the way back home and great defense there. And MRR just lost footing there. They were just so pressured. They're like, oh my god, I'm gonna lose my shrine. Let's just go and chomp down the middle lane Rexes. But on the way there, it seems like they got caught out there by Team Turtle Masters. Pebbles jumping in, Koja Shipstick being used on the Hag. Hag actually suffering a lot of damage. And the late Shrunken Head basically sealed the deal. Sandriff came all the way back home, nicely nailing Old 7T, and also that's the hack by the way, as well as the other members there, so quickly knocking all of them off. It seems like even the healing fountain, Duikyu playing as a Soul Reaper is just not good enough, and that is very sick because Turtle Masters, man, they just showed that we can outplay you guys anytime. By the way, Sandriff has got 730 GPM at the very end of this game, plus the fact that all 4 out of 5 members of Team Turtle Masters had got post haze. That's just insane.
Yeah, it really is. Like they knew what was online. They knew they had to go with that strategy in order to win, and they did it. I mean, they did it perfectly. They won that, and it also came back to the fact that MRR just didn't play well enough during that last engagement. That last skirmish was what it all came down to, and that ultimately came back to bite them in the butt. So just really unfortunate for them, but
Yeah.
still nicely played by both teams. Like they gave us a really good game to cast.
It is a really great game to cast. Are you kidding me? It's not even on a skill of on any skill. It's like way above that. It's great game to cast, and 70 plus minutes of that's just gonna go insane. By the way, you can always watch this on our YouTube. By the way, and that being said, we're gonna take a little bit of a short break. Both me and Lark. We'll be back with Game Number 2 really soon. So we hope you guys enjoy our cast. We'll be back very quickly. Do stay tuned. Grab a quick break, and see you quickly. That being said, see you guys real soon.